Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I am so excited for our first ever episode for Power and Purpose, where we'll be hearing stories of so many inspirational women. And we have our first guest today that I'm so excited to speak to. We have Zahra Aljabri with us, and I'm so excited to hear from you. So we're going to dive right in. I want you to introduce yourself and share a little bit about your journey. And then what helps you drive people to step into their power and live with purpose. So that was like a whole big bunch, but I'm ready to start.
Well, walaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, just throw in like the whole thing.
I'm like right at it. Like, wait, what? Good morning.
Yes. So my name is Zahra. I am a okay, a little bit about my journey. My parents are African immigrants from Kenya. I grew up in California. My parents were like part of the founding masjid of our community, which is mostly we lived in the white suburbs, and then there was the Desi and Arab Muslim community, and we were the only African family. Um, and my journey was just of kind of being like, I'm the oldest daughter, just trying to be that good girl, that good Muslim girl, follow all the rules, be a dutiful daughter, be a good Muslim so that Allah would be happy, right? Like doing well in school, trying to do all the Sunday school things in youth group, all of it. Um, and like advancing through life, right? Like doing well in school, going on to grad school. I went to law school, became a lawyer, got married, had kids,
Did all the
worked as a
things.
lawyer, started having then went into entrepreneurship. That's where my story kind of starts, is when I started my own e-commerce. And it was there that I was trying to advance this business, right? It was like my second foray into entrepreneurship. And I wanted to build this big e-commerce business. I wanted to get venture backed capital. I wanted to scale. I wanted to have press. I wanted all the things. And so here I was working diligently at all of the things. And I did get many accolades, right? I was featured in several publications. I won a $50,000 pitch competition.
Amazing.
I had clients from all over for my e-commerce, but it wasn't adding up to the success that I wanted from my perception. And that really led me on a spiritual journey to my question of asking God, like, what's going on here? I know I'm smart, I'm talented, I'm hardworking, I'm doing everything they say to do. There's no way that like this is about effort or skill. So what is this about? And then Allah basically revealed to me that it was about faith and that I lacked real practical faith, the faith in myself, the faith in Allah, that Allah would support me, that it was written for me, that I could attain it, that everything was possible. And so from that spiritual journey, I began writing and sharing about everything I had learned in a newsletter called, well, I called that section of the newsletter coaching notes, and sharing these coaching notes on how to get practical faith, how to attain practical faith, how to implement it in your life. Like, what do you do
Mhm.
when you don't see the success that you want, or when your mom is nagging you or being overly critical, or when a friend is you know crossing your boundaries, right? Like, how do you actually apply Islamic principles in these everyday situations? And it was from that coaching newsletter that I began actually coaching people for free, and then growing into a coaching business, which is essentially all of that is to help people to live in their purpose.
Right. That's amazing. And I love how you mentioned faith because I feel like there are so many times where you just don't know how you're going to get through, and just having faith like goes a long way. I know for me, for sure, when I found out I was pregnant with my third child, I was 5 months postpartum. And I remember just being like, how is this going to work out? But then just having like trust in Allah's timing and what is meant for you really helped me throughout. And then when I found out I was pregnant the fourth time, I was completely calm. And everyone was like, how are you so calm? And I was like, you know what? Because I have faith. Like Allah chose this for me and it's gonna work out. And that really helps you bring the driving force the way you were speaking about. And I love how you have the coaching aspect, because a lot of times you don't have the guidance, or we don't have the mentor, that are in our lives. So just having that aspect where women could come and, learn from an Islamic perspective is just so beautiful. That's amazing. And when did you start? When did you start that? What year was that?
It's been about 7 years now that I've been coaching. So like 2019, 2018, 2019.
That's amazing, mashallah. So our next question is, and I think you answered some of that, was what are some challenges you faced early on, and how did you find the courage to keep going?
Do you mean just challenges in general or?
Maybe if there's like a specific challenge that you remember you went through that was really hard, and then how you found the courage to just keep going at it.
Yeah, this is a really good question. When you were talking about your children, it reminds me of childbirth. I think there's so many lessons in there for us women, even for women who haven't had a baby. So let me just make that a quick story out of that one. When I was having
Please.
my first son, right, and trying to have a vaginal delivery, and my husband's head is very large, so my son's head was very large. When he was born, it was the 90th percentile. But
Lord.
while I was having him, we don't know that. We just know that this baby is not coming out. And, you're there in the hospital room, the nurses, the doctors, everyone trying to help you, telling you push, telling you all of these things. And I'm looking to them for guidance for like, okay, push when this contraction and all of these things. Um, and as the hours are going on and this baby is not coming out, and they tell you about all these kind of like archaic ways that they can get a baby out when you take like your what is it called? The before birth class.
The birthing classes and like the
Yeah, they're like,
breathing and
oh,
all
we
that
can use like
stuff.
a suction and we can like
Oh,
do
that's
all
right,
these
the
things.
vacuum and all that stuff that they do.
Yeah. And so I was like, do those things you told me about. And they're like, we can't. I'm like, well,
I
then
was
why
like,
did
can
you
you
tell me
please
about
cup
them?
me? I'm like, can you just cup me? Can we get this over with? And they're like,
Exactly.
no.
Like, we can't. And
That's
it
the
was
moment
in
where you're
that
like, just take me out of
moment. Yeah, exactly, right? But I had a clear moment in there. I was like, oh my God, nobody can help me.
it. God.
I have to deliver this baby by my, like, I have to do it. No help is coming. No other force besides me and God working together is going to get me through this moment, because all these people standing around me, however much they care or how much they're getting paid or love me, it does not matter. Nobody can help me, and I have to do this on my own. Um, and that uh, is a very powerful thing to realize, because it puts all the focus back on you. Then
Yes.
okay, like, well, then what can I do? What more breathing, more whatever, like what can I do to figure this out? And then B, it helps you understand like that I if my focus is all back on me, I've really got to lock in whatever that means for whatever the situation is. Oh my gosh, it's reminding me of another situation. But that understanding is what actually helps you get through any challenge. Because the
Oh my God, yes.
mistake that we always make when we are going through any challenge is that we're trying to find a way out, right? A way out, like that's from some external force. Like there's some
Except the
other
baby.
person.
Everyone's trying to find a way out but the baby.
Exactly.
Like, can you
We're
find your
trying to
way out,
stay in.
please?
But that's exactly it, is that we think like, whatever it is, if you're in a financial challenge or if you're in a relationship challenge or if you're whatever, like, oh, if only I, can just get this job, or if that person would just introduce me to them, or if,
Wow.
this
Totally
recruiter would
different
get back
that.
to me, or, if I'm talking to the Arishta auntie, if she would just recommend, or if I could only attend this matrimonial event, right? We think it's something to go to, something to get, somebody to talk to that's going to help us solve our problem. And so we keep looking outside of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever it is that we're challenged, if it's a financial challenge, relationship, it doesn't matter. We're always looking outside of ourselves. And until we come to a realization that like nothing out there can help me until I help me.
Oh my God,
Until
yes.
I am
Yes.
like realizing I'm the point of power. And you're like, okay, what can I do? Where do I need to be? Where does my head, my heart, my mind, if I fully take responsibility that I've got to get myself out of this,
Mm-hmm.
then you apply a different level of like force within yourself that then activates outside things that may be able to still influence you, but it's
Right.
because the power came from you. So that is like my, that's what I coach all my clients through is like, we've got to get into that state because if you're just looking outside, you're going to miss it and you're going to delay. You're going to make yourself wait for longer and longer until you get to that it's me.
And it reminds me of that scene where no one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you. And, I just delivered 6 months ago, and you sharing that story just brought me back. And it's amazing because your eldest is, how old is your eldest?
14.
14. And I have to say, like, childbirth is one of those experiences that brings you closer to Allah like nothing else because it just truly seems inhumane. Like, how is this even possible? My daughters, I gave birth to them, and it wasn't easy, but my son, he had the biggest head. Like, it was the biggest head ever, even though it was the shortest birth. But I remember my midwife was just horrible. Like, she was so mean, she was so monotone, she was not encouraging at all, and I'm literally there. And like you said, you're like, what do I do? And I remember just feeling so like helpless because I didn't know. Like, I was breathing, pushing all the things, I just couldn't. Like, he wasn't coming out, and I was in so much pain. I had all unmedicated births because I don't know, like, I'm so crazy, but it really makes you feel like to the fullest. And I remember there came a point where she was like, "No, you just need to push," and I'm just there, and I'm like, I have to figure this out on my own. And childbirth is that bridge where you have to cross alone. Like, even though you have that team, my husband, he's very supportive. I actually trained him to be my doula because I also have a doula certification. But during that moment, it's like nothing matters. Everything goes out the window, and it's just you and Allah. It's like really like that bridge when heaven and the world connects, and you figure it out. You figure it out, and you realize in that moment how powerful you are. I know, like, being a mom, people are like, well, now you're a mom, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm just like, if you're a mom and you gave birth, forget birth, you went through pregnancy, then you gave birth, and it's not even over yet. Now it's postpartum, now you're raising these kids. Like, it's the most powerful thing you can do. And I think just owning into that power, like understanding that, I am capable of doing this and I can. So I love that story. I like really related to the whole birth thing because it's insane. It's insane. But we do it and we get through it. And now, like, mashallah, look, you're like, your son is grown, and think about the time where he wasn't even coming into this world.
SubhanAllah, it's so true. But yes, absolutely. And I will say it's those moments, like when people are like, I lack confidence. How do I build my self-esteem? It's in those moments when you build your
Moments.
self-esteem, when you realize I have to rely on myself. That's when you build your confidence. That's when you build your self-esteem. It's because you are now relying on yourself. And when you
Yeah.
can trust yourself and rely on yourself, then you have confidence in yourself, and that's what makes you confident.
Yep, and that's how you grow, when you just like continue to do these things over and over again. But that's life. Because every other like it's never gonna end, right? Throughout life we're just gonna always be going through these challenges, and it's how we face them, right? With faith, with power, with knowledge. So our next question is, you've built multiple businesses and coached countless clients. From your experience, what does it take to sustain growth and success without losing sight of your values or your purpose?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Um, okay, what does it take to sustain growth and success without losing sight of your values? I think the simple answer is to stay connected to your why. Why are you doing it? What is motivating you? Who do you want to serve and why do you want to serve in that way? When you stay connected to that, that's what helps you sustain your growth. Because anything you want to do or build, especially in business entrepreneurship, is going to be hard. There are going to be challenges. There are going to be obstacles. So if you are choosing a business or choosing something to do based on what sounds easy or what you think could make you a quick buck or whatever, then you will be quickly humbled because no matter what it is, business is always a challenge. And if you're not really connected to that why, right? If you're just like, I want to sell like these widgets or these candles or whatever, and care nothing about candles, but you think candles are so popular, everyone wants candles, I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going to make candles, and you start selling them, and then you get into the struggle of a business. if you don't really care about candles, you're going to give up because you don't actually care about doing it. But if you like care, oh my God, I sourced this wax from this best whatever, and this fragrance burns cleanly and it doesn't bother anyone with allergies, and the flame does this and that, and it's so good for you, and the aromatherapy,
Mhm.
whatever. If you're so just like passionate about this, they're like, no, 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 I want this product into the world. Oh my God, when I see someone using those other candles and then they're complaining about this, I know what the reason is. They should use my candle. You're going to keep going because you're connected to your why, because it's important to you, because it matters to you, because you know what a difference it can make. And
Mhm.
so that's how you will sustain your ability to grow and have success, because literally your growth and success, basically the main function is staying in the game.
Yeah.
The more committed you are to staying in the game, you will see growth and success. If you are either stop and go, like, okay,
Mm.
people were hyped about it, but now they're not, oh man,
Not a,
then you will, have stop and go. Or if you're just waiting for, you know, um, outside validation, or for like just hoping for it to pop off, um, then you're going to give up because it's hard. The people who last are the people who stay.
yeah, exactly. And it's the long run. And it's not like the overnight, it's not gonna happen like in months. It takes years. And it really are the people that continue to grow and like continue to go on. And it's because they have a clear purpose in mind, like when times get tough. And I think that can relate in things like motherhood and like business and success and school. You have to remember why you're doing it. And I think that's what really
Absolutely.
fuels you.
Yeah, there's so many people that started coaching around the same time that I did that are not here anymore. And, I know why. It's because it's super hard.
It's a lot.
Right? There's a low barrier to entry. Like, it's very easy to become a coach and all of those things.
Yeah.
But because there's a low barrier to entry, you think I can just do it. But then once you're doing it, it is extremely hard and it requires daily, unglamorous work. And then
Hmm.
if you're not really passionate about what you're sharing, then you're not going to want to continue, right? So
Yeah.
that especially in my and that I had this failure, quote unquote failure of my e-commerce business. Um, I was passionate about it, but I was more concerned with the external validation. And so
Mm,
because I wasn't getting the external validation, it dwindled my internal passion. And so in that way, I killed my business.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's another good one, right? Because just like really, and those things do kill the business, right? Because, like you said, it doesn't end up lasting the long run. And many times we hear about businesses and we're like, oh my God, look at this amazing brand. And I just found you think that you just found out about it and they just started, but they've been building for like the past 10 years and no one knew about them. And you're like, oh, okay, so you've been there for that long. And that's what it takes. It takes all these years to finally you're like, oh, here we are. It takes a lot of the learning, the failures, and I think failures are extremely important for our growth, right? Because that's how we learn. Because when you don't fail, you kind of don't learn. And getting out of your comfort zone, I think, is also so, so important. But most importantly, like you said, is like understand your why and just be so like to the nitty gritty, like understand why that is. So when you have a tough day, you're like, all right, well, let's keep going.
Exactly.
I know you're a mom of four, and that's a lot. I wanted to know if you had any time management tips or advice that you use that have helped you, especially during your earlier stages. Because I selfishly want to know, like, how was that when you were raising them while building the businesses alongside with them?
Yes.
What are some
Um,
things that helped you that you were like, this is what got me through?
so definitely asking for help, getting more and more comfortable asking for help because people are willing to help you.
Yeah.
And if we have, especially as Muslim women, we might have reservations around that. We might feel like many of us Muslim women are trained to be the givers, not the receivers. And so
Hmm.
we can feel uncomfortable receiving. So you have to just be like, oh my God, right? That's one of the good things about motherhood is that it's so intense, so hard, so much. You're so sleep deprived that like you're just like, I need help. Like I can't even pretend anymore that I can do it. I can't. I need help. So asking for help, letting things go. deprioritizing things, right? If you used to, you whatever, keep your house spotless, like, okay, just keep the family room spotless and all the hide
Yeah,
all the
that's
rest of
out
the
the
junk.
window after the third. Like, like, oh, that's spotless.
Exactly, right? There's that joke of like parents with one or two children will show up places late but like looking perfect and having all their things. Parents with like three or four children will show up on time but like one's missing a shoe, one doesn't have their hair done, one's like, we're here. Like
And I remember one time I had a whole argument because they wanted to wear two different shoes, right? Like it was the left, it was a pink and a blue, and I was like, you know what, fine. I was like, wear it. I was like, wear it, fine. Like I'm not like, is
exactly.
this battle worth fighting right now? No. I'm like, all right, fine. I was just so done. Like even just to get them ready, get them out of the house, I'm exhausted. Like we even got to the place yet. Like just getting all four dressed and ready is, I'm exhausted.
Yeah, that's the pre-job before the, yes. So yeah, letting things go. Letting things go. And then third is like lowering your expectations of yourself because you're still in
Mhm.
your mind remembering your capacity from pre-kids, basically. You're like, oh, I can do this, this, and this. And you're just like not, for whatever reason, when it comes to tasks, we just like don't factor in that the children will slow us down.
Or like life from one to two kids, like that part too, like because it's different. It was different when I had my first and second, and now it's completely different.
Yes, exactly. Right. So yeah, lowering your expectations of yourself and being kinder to yourself. Um, because you'll still end up getting quite a bit done just because, I don't know, we're women and we're amazing and we do. But it will be like, there's be part of us that'll be like frustrated and annoyed that it wasn't more. And so you just
Yeah,
have to like let that go, that it wasn't
a
as
lot of
perfect or it
that.
wasn't as clean
Mhm.
and it wasn't more, it wasn't done faster. Like, oh my God,
That bothers
look
me
what I
so
got
much.
done with all that is going on. So it's that combination.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like switching that mindset thing. And I know you said that you're an eldest daughter, and I'm an eldest daughter as well. And I think that comes with that, where it's like we're supposed to make sure everything is right and perfect, and and like you said, like we're the givers, not the takers. And I think that's something that was really hard for me to get over. Like, oh, I can also ask and expect to receive, and just get away from that always giving part because I had truly nothing else left to give, after the kids and all that, there was nothing else that I could do. So just accepting that it's okay if I ask for help and it's okay if I receive the help.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and
then
paying for help.
another,
I had daycare, I had nannies, I had a house cleaner. It wasn't everything wasn't consistent, but I had
when you
different things
can.
at different times.
Yes, yes, for sure. I love that. I love that so much. Is there any final words you would like to share
Um,
from women and just like women in general? And what power and purpose means to you. I know we've been speaking about that throughout, but just some final words that you wanted to share with us.
yes. Okay. I would say that our power and our purpose um really just stems from you enjoying your life. And I love that you brought up that you're also the eldest, because like eldest daughters or just Muslim women, we're kind of brought up and trained that our life again is like in service to others and how good we can be and how helpful we can be. And we don't really look into, well, how much am I enjoying my life? How much am I benefiting from my life? It's almost like, how much is my life benefiting other people, making it easier for other people? And that will very quickly take you away from your power and your purpose because you don't want to have a whole bunch of power that's just powering other people and leaving yourself depleted.
Hmm.
And you will begin to feel resentful that, like, my purpose is just to make sure everyone else is okay and nothing for me. So it's to, I coach many successful, powerful women, but it's still this element, this mindset shift, this learning of how how can I be the first beneficiary of my life? That I benefit first, right? It's another way of kind of saying my fill my cup. But
Fill
it's
your
we're
cup.
not
Yeah.
we're not cups and we're not filling. It's just like that Allah created me and the greatest blessing for me is me. And
Mm,
then it is from me being blessed and enjoying my life that I bless others.
right.
And that will connect you more to all of your power and guide you in your purpose. And your purpose is really just to and exist in a way that lights you up, because it is from you being lit up. That is the nur, that is the love, that is the barakah of you that extends outward. You don't have to think about it in like this capitalistic way of what am I
Right.
producing? What am I doing? Even in the checklist of deeds, did I do all of these good deeds? Blah, blah, blah. Like that's, Allah's not looking at us in this capitalistic way. He's looking at us as like our beingness.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my closing remark.
My God, I love that so much. That's amazing. And it's been so nice to have you on. And you kicked off the podcast as being the first guest. And I couldn't have thought of someone better. But I'm so excited that you're here. And yes, thank you for sharing everything with us today.
You're so welcome. Truly an honor to be your first guest. Thank you for having me.
No, of course. Thank you.